So, Mike, the real secret to Star Wars. All right, never mind.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Howdy, all. Happy Friday. It's a snowy Friday in Buffalo.
Here too. Here in Jersey, we're getting a lot.
Now, okay, I realize that holiday season, holiday commercials. You know, the Coca-Cola commercial back in the day. You know, they would all sing with the how holding the candle. You know, I get that, and you know, but when you're saturated with a commercial,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you're watching the same show every day, you would think that they would mix up the commercials, but because honestly,
They buy them in these like mind-numbing blocks. That's what they do.
yeah, and you know, obviously we've talked about the Geico, the two girls on the treadmill, and the I can't remember. Oh, there was a certain insurance that the guy, you know. Anyway, the Geico commercials in and of itself are annoying, but there's a Honda holiday commercial that uses the song from, I think it's Christmas Vacation or one of the vacations.
Yes, but I like that song, I have to admit.
I like the song, but Russ, every 15 minutes I'm hearing Holiday Road. I'm like, oh my God. I want to beat my head against the wall, which is probably what they would.
I'll tell you the one that makes no sense to me is this Coca-Cola one where they show like the kitchen windows open, which I'm not sure why, because it's the winter. You know, people are out front. I forget what they're doing. And like the mom looks like she's making pancakes. And I'm thinking, even a degenerate doesn't drink Coca-Cola for breakfast with pancakes, right? They just don't.
No. I don't know where degenerate and Coca-Cola.
Because there are people, look, that drink Mountain Dew and Coke for breakfast. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you wash down a pancake with that, God help you.
No. And what could be the most annoying, and it has nothing to do with the political affiliation of either, but I think for most of those Secret Santa things that happen around this time, the default bad gift is a Chia Pet.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing Chia Trump and Chia Obama and Chia Bob Ross, the artist, yeah. And something from Guardians in the Galaxy. I mean, it's so friggin' weak.
Oh, it's probably Groot. They're probably doing Groot.
It's Groot, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's so weak. It's like, oh my God, who in their right mind would buy this crap?
All right, now I will say that Gary points out in the chat room that Holiday Road is a Lindsey Buckingham song, yes. And I want to point out that Fleetwood Mac stinks.
No, oh my God. Well, I'm not gonna get into this argument today. I mean, they're definitely a rock and roll hall. They do not stink.
They do.
They do not.
Everybody can listen to that song Tusk or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
How long does that go on for?
About 12 minutes, I think.
It seems like it's 35, 45 minutes.
Yeah, they liked spending time with the USC band, apparently. They were marching around the LA Coliseum for about a year doing that song. We didn't touch on this, and I'm surprised that we didn't. The nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame came out. And I have to say, because I liked the Cars getting in.
Yeah, me too.
I liked Dire Straits getting in.
Me too.
I've always been a champion of the Moody Blues.
Yep, I like the Moody Blues.
But the one that drives me crazy, and I know he sold a ton of records, and there's a reason for Buffalonians to hate him. Bon Jovi is just a
the Buffalonians is a football thing. We're gonna push that aside though. But here's the thing: I don't hate Bon Jovi. I've seen him in concert. He's good in concert. I have a CD of his hits, but that's the problem with Bon Jovi and that band. You literally could have 1 or 1.5 CDs of hits, and that's the crux of the band.
Yes. Yeah. I've never heard like a deep cut of a Bon Jovi album that I thought was anything other than crap. I mean, some of it. I
will say, look, there are other unknown albums that have a song or two that are pretty good, no question, and I'll listen to those. But again, it's not enough for me.
Yeah. So, and there were other artists that, but those were the top level.
But now we have to ask the question: since they are getting in, will Richie Sambora play with them?
Yeah,
that is a bad relationship right now. From all that you could see, he hasn't been on tour with them in years, and he hasn't made a record with them in years.
Yeah,
so I wonder.
If I was going to bet money, I would say no, simply because look at what happened with Kiss.
Right.
You know, they all stood up on stage at the same time. It was Ace, it was Peter, but when they played, Ace and Peter were not on stage.
Right.
So I would bet
it's probably going to go that route. Yeah.
Yeah, I would bet that would be the way. Okay, let's get started. And by the way, questions at the end of the show in the chat. You want to ask a question, let us know, because other than some games and a few news and notes, we're probably going to talk a little bit about the World Junior, but if you have any questions, let us know. Hello, Hockey World. Today is Friday, December 15th, 2017.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.
And I'm Michael Agello, and this is the Hockey Buzzcast here on HockeyBuzz.com. A whole bunch of games last night. We'll start with the one that you were at, Russ.
I did attend the game, yes.
With the Swedish Fish.
Yes. They were waiting for me. That's the thing I try and tell people now. It's like I don't even have to look for them. They find me.
You're stalked by Swedish Fish.
It's literally at my seat assignment.
Okay. So it was the Buffalo Sabres and the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers win the game 2-1. And I know that when you tweeted out last night, and this is no surprise because we've started to hear these rumblings a little bit over the last week or so. The Sabres are clearly out of it. Yes. They have two goaltenders, one in Chad Johnson, one in Robin Lehner. Lehner is an RFA at the end of the year. He's on a $4 million contract. So a team interested in upgrading their goaltending may not have a long-term commitment, but they have the option with a Lehner. So that makes him attractive to teams. And it's very possible that there are teams out there that are looking to upgrade their goaltending, namely the New York Islanders.
Well, I brought up the tweet about Lehner because, like, everybody knows Evander Kane, right? Like, that's a no-brainer. But I feel like in the more immediate future, teams are going to be after Lehner right away because the goalie situation is so bad now in the league that a lot of teams need one. And so, like, the Islanders are a perfect example. You know, look how things went for them yesterday.
Yeah.
Did Torts have a post game? I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, I think he did.
He did. Okay. But at any rate, and they blew a 3-0 lead, the Jackets. But getting back
they still won.
Yes, but getting back to the Islanders, they have not broken away from that. Hey, there's one good goalie here, and there is one good backup. We're not sure if there's any good goalies there, and so what I think might happen is they're going to put in a pretty good offer for Lehner, and they'll send Halak back down, and he'll clear waivers. I don't think anybody will want Halak.
And as I said to you yesterday, I think based on the scenario, because the Sabres could trade Chad Johnson. He's on a 1-year contract. He's a perfect backup for a number of teams.
And Olmark will come up.
And Olmark would come up, and they'll give him a long look. I could see them taking back Halak in a deal, or
it's possible.
Yeah, because the cap hits are fairly close between him and Lehner, and the whole purpose of the Sabres trying to make a deal like this is they're sold that that Lehner is not the guy.
Yeah,
they're looking for future assets. They're looking to shake things up, and the Islanders are loaded with young prospects. So,
well, I don't know if it'll be young prospects. Like, I kind of wonder. I'm pretty sure Calvin DeHaan's a UFA, right?
I'll check.
If he's not, he's only got 1 year left. But I could see where the Islanders might offer up Calvin DeHaan and like a pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Calvin DeHaan does anything. He is a UFA. So is Hickey.
Right.
So is Seidenberg.
Right.
I don't think the Sabres are doing that. I think the Sabres are. I mean, I'm not talking about like Kiefer Bellows.
No, I think the Sabres would do it. You got to remember, you take Calvin DeHaan outside of that Islanders situation, he's a really good defenseman. He has improved a lot in the last 2 or 3 years. He's just not offensive. But again, here's the thing. Remember, for years we said, well, Anton Strowman, he just never lived up to the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden his offense came back with the Rangers and then got a big contract with Tampa, right? So you never know. It could be just a situation, too, where DeHaan's offense does come back out in the right system. But the Sabres could use a defenseman. Like, listen, I mean, you want to talk about how badly they need a defenseman? When Robin Lehner leaves a puck in the trapezoid to play it safe and Justin Falk is the guy that's supposed to handle that, you're in trouble. Because Justin Falk's got hands of cement.
Well, I think
right in the back of their net.
I think the Sabres could go one of two ways. I think they could go defenseman, as you're saying, but I think a guy like Mayfield makes more sense because he's retainable. Now they could,
but DeHaan is more of a puck mover, and if you look at, the Sabres have guys like Mayfield. They don't have a lot of good puck movers.
But Russ, right now they're so overloaded with bad contracts on defense that signing DeHaan to an extension is probably not the direction they want to go. I mean, once you get rid of Georges and Bogosian and those guys, then yeah, maybe. I mean, and they could get DeHaan in the offseason as a free agent.
Anthony's going to be gone, and I think Georges will go. And I think at the end of the day,
they may buy out Bogosian. You never know.
I like Mayfield. But I don't think you should get a guy just because he's attainable because of salary. We see how that's working out with Ottawa, right?
Right. And the other possibility is, as we talked about before, the Islanders have 2 goaltending prospects in Europe. Maybe they get Leonard on a flyer for a Soderstrom or a Sorokin. And if they do, that would make sense because they, the Sabres have Ullmark. They have, I believe his name is Johansson, a prospect. They have the Luukkonen, the Finnish prospect. They have 2 or 3.
Pekka-Luukkonen.
Pekka-Luukkonen, yeah. I believe
it's crazy. It's a crazy
name. Too many names there.
Yes.
Too many Ks.
Yes.
But yeah, they have goaltenders in the pipeline. But I think those guys are 2-3 years away, whereas the Islander goaltenders. Soderstrom might be a year away. Sorokin, if he gets out of the KHL, might be a year or 2 away. So
here's the thing, though. So, like the chat room saying that DeHaan won 6. 6 is the going rate for a guy like that. Actually, if you get DeHaan for 5 years, $6 million, what did they pay Antipin? They paid him like 2 or 3, right?
No, he was entry level, $925,000.
Oh, he was entry level. Oh, okay. I thought he went higher for some reason.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're clearing almost $4 million on Georges when he's a UFA.
Hey, look, that was a total waste of money. The $4 million.
It was just taking. I mean, that was when they thought that they were close enough, and thank God, thank you, Josh Georges, for saying I don't want to go to Toronto because honestly, you'd be another albatross around that organization's neck. But yeah. So I mean, we see the Sabres sort of maybe at least the rumors starting to pick up, and I think they will continue to pick up because right now they're the only team that people say they're definitely selling. But there are other teams, and we know that Ottawa may get into it. But
what the most attractive thing should be for the Islanders about DeHaan? Not the Islanders, the Sabres about DeHaan. Last year he played 82 games. They won't have a defenseman that plays 82 games this year. I
honestly, I don't. If they go after DeHaan, I think it's in the summer. I don't think that Yeah, but Ack posted a rumor this morning, and I'm a little skeptical, and not of Ack, but not of the actual rumor, but of whoever the source is, because the rumor is Ian Cole. In a deal for Evander Kane. Now, if we know the connection between Botterill and the Penguins, so there is that. We know that the Penguins are looking for help on the wing, so that adds up. Maybe the Penguins can handle Kane's contract. If not, the Sabres would probably have to retain salary. Where I have a problem is Ian Cole, because I like Ian Cole. I think he's a good defenseman. Yep. But if it's Ian Cole for Evander Kane, no way in hell Botterill's doing that deal. You're talking unless –
depends how desperate he is for offense. Don't say no way in hell because we don't know the exact reason they want to trade Cole. So let's remember that. They could be trading a problem for a problem.
Right, but I also think that the normal package for a scoring winger – like Evander Kane is a lot more than a troublesome defenseman. Yeah. You're talking. I mean, if it's Ian Cole, okay. If it's Ian Cole, Daniel Sprong, and a number 1, okay. For Kane and Chad Johnson, okay. I think that's realistic. Ian Cole for Evander Kane, no way. No way. A rental price for a rental as expensive or as
But Cole's not going to re-sign with the Penguins either. So
yeah, but he's got time on his contract.
I know.
He's got another year at least. So, I mean, you're talking about a player. I mean, in that instance, yeah. Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong. He's a UFA at the end of the year. So, yeah, he's a rental. And the Sabres, if they're going after
but
guys,
again, the Sabres might know, like, if they talk to him and they think they can extend him, then they might do it. Here's the thing about Kane yesterday. My takeaway from him.
Okay.
He did a lot of gliding. I mean, he did have a moment in that game where he back-checked a little, stole a puck, shot it, and he was like 8 feet from the net, and he had a wide-open shot. Like, it seems like the concentration is not there from game to game with him. I get that he's got 14 goals and 28 points, but you know what? I don't see him bringing it every game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot to play for right now if you're the Sabres. I
don't know. Jack Eichel was playing hard, man.
Frustrated.
He was very frustrated after that game, and he is, he has a winning mentality, so he clearly wants to win in the worst way. Yeah. And I'm not saying Kane doesn't want to win, but I'm just saying Kane's effort last night was not great.
And that's because Jack Eichel is going to be with the Sabres for a number of years. Evander Kane is counting the days because I am convinced, it may be mutual, it may be one side, but Evander Kane will not be a Sabre when the season opens next October. Not a chance in hell. Either the Sabres, he doesn't want to stay in Buffalo, which he said he does, but that could be just, I want to get the biggest contract I can get. Or the Sabres are like, this guy is a train wreck waiting to happen. He's already blown up a couple times. We're not going to go this way. I think it's more that than the other. And right now they have a winning lottery ticket in the sense that he's having a good year and teams need scoring. So, but they're not going to sell him for a rental free agent. And I don't think that's what Eck is reporting. I think if it's Ian Cole as part of a deal with a high draft pick and a prospect, okay, because then you might be right. Then Botterill might be able to get Cole to sign and be that stabilizing D that he thought he had with Josh Georges, but not a head up 1-for-1. No way.
Here was Evander Kane's last night. 3 shots on goal, 3 hits. He was a -2. He 18 minutes of ice time, so he had the second most ice time for a forward, and no blocks, no giveaways, no takeaways. It's just not a lot.
Yeah. So we'll obviously keep an eye on that one because I think the Sabres will be that first team. Now remember, the trade freeze is December the 19th, which is next Tuesday. So except for Calgary, which I'm sure it's already on right by now.
No, not yet. I think probably by the weekend.
Well, remember, Burke always likes it like a week further.
Yeah, so he might change that. You never know.
Right. The other game we mentioned just in passing, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Islanders, as you said, more evidence of goaltending problems for the Islanders, who lose 6-4 to the Blue Jackets.
They're just slipping now because of this goaltending problem. They are.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's say this: I don't think they're in danger of missing the playoffs. Although
I wouldn't say that. If they stay pat, they are in danger of missing them.
The race is very close between first and fifth in the Metro.
But they had a cushion. Their cushion's gone.
Yeah. Josh Bailey had a hat trick for the Islanders, which just increases his
just rakes the cash register. That's all.
Oh my God! And Tavares assisted on all 3. That guy, what's his name? Artemi something or other. Yeah, he also had a pretty good game. And Zach Werenski.
He's all right. I mean, who's he really?
Yeah. Devils and the Canadians. Montreal wins 2-1 on a Thomas Plekanec overtime goal. Canadians have sort of stabilized. Gee, it's shocking. They get Carey Price back and they stabilize.
They did.
But that's the thing. Carey Price is everything. He's their chance. He's their hope.
But it's fine. I mean, it's not the worst. You make it seem like that's a negative.
It's
for how many years was Henrik Lundqvist everything for the Rangers? Almost every year of his career.
But it's not a winning formula. It's pathetic. I mean, they're just slightly better than the Sabres were with Dominic Hasek. I mean, at least Montreal's got a few I'd say top level players. And the thing about the Sabres were, they got to a Stanley Cup final with with Hasek in goal. Their number one center was Mike Pekka, who I liked as a player, but Mike Pekka was not a number one center. He was a number 2 or a number 3.
Yeah, he was a better second.
Yeah, and they had guys like
Briere,
Vaclav Virat. No, that was.
Oh, you're talking about different. Yeah,
we're talking 99, 2000.
Yeah, you're talking earlier.
We're talking Dixon, Ward,
Alex,
Alexei Zhitnik, Richard Schmelik. I mean, this was not a good team, and he just stood on his head, and they won games, and they won series. So
yeah, I remember seeing that was when Sportsnet America or Sports Channel America was showing the cup. I didn't get to see it, so all I've ever seen of that are like long highlights and whatever, like other networks showing of that. And Hasek was really great, but unconventional.
Well, I can only say this, and I was talking about this with somebody up in Toronto.
He wasn't the dominator. He was just goaltender Hasek. That's how they called it that back then.
He was the dominator in Buffalo.
No, yeah, in Buffalo, yeah. Oh, that's right. That was with Chicago. I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No. Please. That when he came in Game 4, I think it was the '92 Stanley Cup Final against Pittsburgh, and Chicago was down 3-0, and they just opened wide open and put Hasek in for Balfour. He made a couple saves on Lemieux and Yager that were just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's when they called him goaltender Hasek. But you're right, he was dominator in Buffalo.
Yeah, and the thing is that that team had no business getting as far as they did. It was only on the back of Hasek. Yeah. So
you're right.
You can do it. You can get, but eventually, if you don't have the guys who can score goals, you're not going to win. And that's where Montreal is. It's like, in this game, Andrew Shaw got a goal, and Plekanec got his 4th of the season. You're not getting a ton of offense out of Pacioretty. Duran's been hurt a couple times. Shea Weber is a great defenseman, but there's just not enough there. They may sneak into the playoffs, but I don't know how much damage they're going to do with Price, unless Price is just superhuman.
I think you made an understatement there. You said they're not getting a ton of offense out of Pacioretty. It's like, 18 points for him is like almost no offense.
I was trying to be kind.
This is a guy who, for 1, 2, 3, 4 years running, has had 30 or more goals every year. Almost had 40 in 2014, and now he might be on pace for 20. Yeah,
and I believe he's entering, not this year, but next year will be the last year of his contract. So that might be a scenario where he might be on the block during the summer. Other games, Anaheim wins 3-1 over the St. Louis Blues. I don't know if it's Kevin Roy or Kevin Roy, but Kevin Roy, we'll say. I'll do my Don Cherry imitation. Had 2 goals. Getzlaf has 7 assists and has not been back for long, so I'm sure the Ducks are very happy to have him back. And the reports are, Russ, is that Kessler will be back before Christmas.
Okay. Well, that's, again, I still think they're going to limp into the playoffs, but then they're going to be a team nobody wants to face.
Right. They're not so far out of it that they can't climb back.
Yeah, they could be the Kings of 2012. That's what they're sort of shaping up to be.
Speaking of the Kings, Gaborik has come back, which I thought he was done for his career, but he has come back, and he has made a little bit of an impact in his return. So
yeah,
I'm slightly surprised. I really thought that he was going to be one of these guys where he was just going to disappear, and his contract was going to be on LTIR and he would never play again. And I'm actually surprised.
I think if you would have said nothing, that would have happened, but because you said he was done,
right, they made me look bad, of course. The game that I watched, the Maple Leafs and the Minnesota Wild, the Leafs win. The Leafs lose 2-0, get shut out by Alex Stalock, and it was interesting. They played up this whole thing where Stalock was part of the James Reimer deal,
right,
a couple years ago, and he was pissed off that he got waived immediately, sent to the Marlies, and didn't have a chance to play for them at all. And he was basically the 4th-string goalie, and then they told him that he could go back home because they weren't going to use him. And he used that as motivation, and that's
and this is the funny thing about the Wild. Like, they always say, well, we don't go after just Americans or just Minnesota players, but yet, Stalock is a Minnesota goalie, right, and he gets the win. And if you look down the roster, they always have 3 or 4 guys from Minnesota. They do.
Yeah. No, they, and yeah, and And obviously that makes sense. They probably can get them for a little less, or they scout them. If they draft them, they scout them more, so they're more aware of the sort of the ins and outs of Minnesota hockey. The thing about the Leafs that is starting to be concerning, they were 5-0 without Austin Matthews in the lineup. The last win was that 1-0 game over Edmonton on Sunday, where they had no business winning. McElhinney stood on his head and made 41 saves. They've played 2 games, the one that you were at in Philadelphia on Tuesday, last night. They scored 2 goals, but they played a really conservative defensive game, trying to steal a point on the road, and allowed a bad on a bad pinch by Jake Gardner, allowed a late goal to lose the point. Last night, Tyler Ennis gets a goal late in the first period, and they had a few chances, but there was nothing, no great offensive chances. And the concern is, okay, without Matthews, you've had some veterans like Marleau and JVR pick things up. William Nylander, 2 goals in 25 games. Mitch Marner, 1 goal in his last 32 games. He had a goal.
He's afraid to shoot. I mean,
and I don't get it.
He's not shooting with the regularity that you want a potential star player to shoot.
Yeah, and I mean, the observation has been there, and it's even uttered from his lips that he's more of a pass first guy.
Right.
But that's all fine and good, but
somebody has to score goals.
Yeah, somebody has to score goals, and without Matthews there, and more than likely the Leafs are playing Detroit tonight. Matthews is
other than Matthews and JVR, like there has to be some other players.
Kadri.
Yeah.
Kadri has 13 goals, but he's gone cold because he's the main checker against the other team's top line, and it's tough for him to do both. So, I mean, they're getting some offense out of Marleau, they're getting some offense out of Connor Brown, but they're not getting anything out of Nylander other than assists, and Marner the same. And I think what's going on here, Russ, is their defense is so weak in certain areas that they're playing this conservative team defense, try to shut things down, try to be like, hold your cards close to the vest on the road, and then spring the offense. And I just don't think that style fits this team. And the whole thing is they've got to upgrade their blue line to allow their forwards to be more freewheeling. But it doesn't seem like the Leafs are willing to trade at this point, willing to trade the assets to get the type
that's the roadblock part is, they have guys players want, and they're not getting dealt. Now, the interesting thing is, again, and some people think it's too long. I don't know if it's ever too long, but Kasperi Kapanen's been percolating in the minors for a while now, and can't get a break or a sniff of the team. And so, like, now there's memes going around, like showing like him in a graveyard, and and
free Kasperi, like it was free,
like he's wasting away. But I mean, look, at some point they could use him to make a deal, and so we'll see. I mean, they may do that. I mean, if they really like Josh Leivo that much, and they're going to continue on with Josh Leivo, then you might have to trade Kapanen, because next year, if they're keeping Van Riemsdyk and they keep Leivo, there's still no room for Kapanen. Like, where's the room going to be?
Well, we talked about the own rental thing yesterday, but I think they do like Leivo, and they think that Leivo has got the size to be a cheap Van Riemsdyk replacement, because Van Riemsdyk is probably going to cost them $6 million, and they have Leivo under contract for $925,000. Maybe they can get 15 to 20 goals out of him instead of spending $6 million a year to get 30 out of Van Riemsdyk. But I really think they called up Kapanen before this road trip because they were uncertain about Matthews, and he hasn't played in the first 2 games. He might play tonight because they're playing back to back, but he's playing great in the AHL. But at a certain point, you've got this stockpile. You've got to trade one of them to help out an area of weakness, and we know that defense is an area of weakness for this team. I like Ron Hainsey, but Ron Hainsey is not a number 2 defenseman. He's a number 4 or 5. Surprisingly, the Blackhawks beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-1. We were talking about this with Peter. They got offense from everybody last night. Hinostroza, Wengels, Schmaltz, Kane, Michael Kempney. So and Ehlers got the only goal for Winnipeg. It's not above the Blackhawks to have a big second half and to get into the playoffs. I just think that they're going to need these secondary players behind Kane and Taves to really step up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, again, end of the day, I don't know if Mike Babcock thinks his defense is that bad. Like, it's just, I'll be honest. I think he has so much faith in himself and his system that I think he feels pretty comfortable with these guys, and that may be part of the problem.
Well, I mean, I know that some people in Toronto think that the problem is that Babcock has too much confidence in a guy like Roman Polak. I think
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I see, that's the thing. I don't think that Roman Polak being played is the problem, because right now you have a bunch of smaller offense first puck rushing defensemen like Zaitsev, Gardner. And if they put Connor Carrick in there as a number 6 defenseman, he's just another one of the same type of defensemen. They really have nobody to clear the front of the net, nobody who plays with sandpaper, and that's why Polak is, I think, integral to what they want to do. But the problem is you have to upgrade in that 3-4 area. You have to find somebody who's better. I mean, Jake Gardner had a really good year last year, and that pains me to say that because I've never been a big fan of his game. This year, he's regressed.
Here's the thing. I agree about Gardner regressing. Here's what you're getting out of Polak. You're not really looking for points. He's got 3 points, but he's a +1. That's fine. He's got 32 hits in 14 games, 21 blocks. The 21 blocks is good. No takeaways and 5 giveaways. So it's not like he's a rock solid defenseman anymore either. He's not.
Mm-hmm. But he. I'm just saying he's
slightly better than Justin Falk. Falk.
I think he's better than that. I think he's more aggressive.
He is better, but he's not a lot better than that.
No, but I think, like as I said, he's a different type of defenseman that they are playing in bunches, and they need that tough guy. I mean, he's taken some penalties, but he's a guy who I think would be on the PK for them like he was last year, because he's tough in front of the net and clears the front of the net. So I think that's
I don't think they care that much about his penalties. He's under a PIM. He's not even a PIM a game, so he's not even a penalty. He's not even close to a penalty a game. He's not even he's got 12 minutes in 14 games. I don't think that's the issue, but I just see the slowness where teams can definitely get around him. The occasional coughing up of the puck, because again, I think he's playing too many minutes for what he could actually play. He's averaging like 15 minutes. I think that's too much for him.
Well, that's I mean, they want to keep it balanced. They don't want to be playing their top pairing.
Science tells you that. I get it.
Yeah. Skipping over a couple games here, Nashville and Edmonton, a 4-0 shutout for the Nashville Predators over the Oilers. A guy named UC Saros with 46 saves.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got it back now. We'll see.
Yeah, Kyle Turris with a goal. He's got 16 points in 16 games. Who was he traded for again, and how many points does that guy have? Yeah. So, but people are saying, well, the Oilers are starting to pull out of it. They had a really good game against Toronto. They had a really good game against Nashville. They lost both games. I know they beat Columbus. I know they beat Montreal, and they've played good in four games, but they've lost 2 of them. So when you're playing good and you still lose, I don't think you should get a pat on the back if you're saying, "Oh, what a great effort." No, you lost.
That's fair. I mean, I get that. I do.
Good news for the Oilers, though. Cam Talbot has been taken off the injured list, so he's back. They've sent Nick Ellis, who I don't even think saw a minute of time. They played. Yeah, who exactly? They played Laurent Brossois. 7 games, he had 3 wins, so they survived. But they're still, I believe it's 8 or 9 points out of a playoff spot.
It's hard to believe. I mean, look, I didn't pick them to go to the Cup like a lot of people went overboard, I felt, doing that. But I wouldn't have thought they'd be like this far out of it right now either. Sure. But we'll see. It's a lot of season left.
Tampa Bay beats Arizona 4-1, and no shock there. And the game that I watched after the Leaf game that was very entertaining for a bit was Pittsburgh and Vegas. Vegas wins 2-1. Fleury stands on his head. The Golden Knights have 20 wins.
Yeah, like I said, I'm completely wrong about what I said about them. But again, who would have thought this? Like, here's the weird part, okay? Vegas is doing – Arizona is basically doing what Vegas should be – wait, here it. Arizona should be doing what Vegas is doing. And that's what I thought would happen this year, and it's the exact opposite. It's absolutely crazy. You know, Fleury beats his old team. That's cool. But
and Vegas should be doing what Arizona is doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's bizarre. Matt Bolesky clears waivers, not surprisingly. Do you have any
idea? Hold on. Like, we know that the Sabres are bad with a -38 differential. Any idea what the differential is in Arizona?
-45 or something like that?
Yeah, it's -42.
Yeah. I knew it was in the 40s. Yeah.
Once you hit that territory, man, that's
check out the differential for the Carolina Hurricanes right now, who are last. And again, I like the Canes. I like where they're going. I like their defense. I'm skeptical of their goaltending, but they're last in the Metro, and the Metro is a big and tough division. Yeah. But I think they're. I don't think
they're
they have a ton. They're -10. But how many goals do they have?
You know, I'm on the mobile.
On the NHL app. NHL goals for and goals against is
important. I know. I'm on the app.
You know, don't put the differential on there. Put the goals for and goals against, so I can read the damn thing.
No, I agree. I'm you know, that was a perfect example of that because I'm on the app and I can't get it. Like, it's just I keep looking for it.
Don't get me started on them rounding down their goal, the save percentage to 2 digits.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Are you friggin' kidding me?
Carolina right now has 83 goals for. Like, we knew goal scoring is a problem for them.
Thank you. Which is what. Okay, Ron Francis. How do you want? You want one quick step to winning?
Actually, Montreal has more goals.
Yeah, trade one of your 7 good young defensemen for some forward help.
They're gonna have to. I mean,
yes.
There's really no way around it. I mean, that's. I was asked about them the other day, what I felt they'd have to do to sort of, you know, stay in it, and I said, to be honest, I might have to go to Cam Ward now and just say, see if you could reenact the Cam Ward of 3-4 years ago, and then I got to get another, you know, offensive player.
I mean, I think they're back in that 1A, 1B scenario. This is like Martin Gerber and Ward back in the day. This is like Eddie Lack and Ward. I have nothing against Scott
there, and he knows how to play. And
right.
I think he's better than he was like 2 years ago. We were talking about him, and he was a sieve, right? He had just lost it. I think he's gotten better since then. Like this year, you know, it's a 907 save percentage. It's not great, but his last game, he did have a 917. And that was, you know, against Vegas.
What I would be fearful of if I'm Carolina is the fact that they've got Darling signed for 3 more years at $4 million.
Yeah, here's the only thing: Ward's won his last 3 out of 5 games, and in those games that he's won, he's had a 917, a 949, and a 931. You know what? To me, that's good enough to give him an extended look again as the number 1.
To me, that's perfect for a goaltending rotation. 1 game off, 1 game on, 1 game off.
That's the only way they get back in it.
Yeah, and I think probably have to find somebody who can score some goals before the deadline. But if they that's the thing. If they dig themselves too much of a hole, then they're going to hold on to their young guys, and then they'll probably wait till the off season to see if they can add either free agency or add players in free agency, or maybe trade one of those defensemen for forward help. So we'll see. As I said, Matt Bolesky clears waivers, no surprise, $3.8 million the next 2 years.
Now it's being written in Boston. You know, this may be a horrendous contract. It's like, come on, nobody saw this coming.
We were
telling Ty was against me on that. He was like, oh, I don't know, but you know, this was a bad contract.
Well, this was one of them where the analytics crowd were saying, "Oh my God, terrible deal," and somebody retweeted something from like the summer of 2015 saying, "I predict that this guy will be down in the minors within 2 years," and there you go. So I have to tip my hat, you know, to them on that one.
Yep.
News on the arena situation in Belmont, the Islanders situation. There's a strong sense from people that some sources out there, according to this report I read from Newsday, that a Belmont decision is going to come within 3 weeks. So around.
Yeah, well, I said it on Sirius in January. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that is the case.
But honestly, okay, maybe I'm just. Let's say this: if I'm going to deal with a group that's Dolan and the Wilpons or the Yankees, I'm dealing with the Yankees because I don't trust the Wilpons.
It's the Yankees and the Dubai something bank, and apparently they have the same reputation that the Yankees do. So
yeah, I mean,
pick your poison there. Here's the thing, though: when you break it down, the Islander deal is a good deal. Don't get me wrong. And I think the fact that they want like retail and other things around it is good. The other one is a bigger stadium. It's 8,000 seats more.
Right. It's an outdoor stadium.
It's an outdoor stadium, but it still could be used for concerts. There's plenty of summer concerts.
Sure.
And they do have that soccer field that's coming into play, where in the Islander deal, it's an innovation center, and damned if anybody has been able to figure out what that is so far. So, that soccer field's going to weigh heavy. That park soccer field, that's, neighborhoods like that. Let's be real about that. So I think this is not an easy decision. I don't think it's a slam dunk for the Islanders. I think it's 50-50. I really do.
Yeah. A couple other things before we take some questions from the chat. The outdoor game in Ottawa scheduled for tomorrow. It's supposed to be bitterly cold. They say.
What do you mean? It's warm there.
Yeah. Okay. It's supposed to. They said it's getting close to the level of the temperature level of that first outdoor game in Edmonton. You remember?
And here's how that went for me. I'll give a quick synopsis. So we get there, and there is no media seating because that stadium, what was it, Commonwealth Stadium, is a little stadium, like an old stadium. It's not little for people, but it's small for media. So everybody was underneath the stadium. So you either had to watch it on a big screen or you had to go outside. I knew there was a possibility I'd have to go outside. So I'm wearing like boots. I'm wearing ski pants. I'm, park it up. Did I maybe slip myself a warm whiskey drink that they were selling? Yes, I believe I did.
You're drinking a toddy?
Yeah, I drank a toddy, and we stood out there, Shane Malloy and myself, for as long as we could. And all I remember from that game is I stayed out for the entire Legends game, which was fantastic. Right. But then in the other game, yes, the ice was getting brittle, and probably by the second period we gave up. But people had, their beards were freezing. They were poking holes in their beers. Like, Canadian fans will go through things that American fans would never do unless you live in Buffalo.
I've never seen so many frustrated looking veteran hockey players than like Gretzky and Messier and Lafleur and all the guys. Yeah. They looked like they didn't want to be there. Look, can we just get this thing over with so you can go inside and warm up? That was the look.
Yeah.
And
Messier, if you remember, he shoveled off the ice too.
Yes. I freely admit, for the Centennial Classic last year in Toronto, which was not it was not extremely.
It was
cold.
Not bad. It
wasn't bad at all. You and I stood outside for about, I'd say the first 10 minutes, the anthems in the first 10 minutes of the first period, and then we went down to the.
And that was it. We just stayed warm.
Let's go downstairs into the media room and watch it on the big screen. I mean, we're there, and 30,000 people are watching it on TV.
But we did stay outside for a little while. We did. I always make sure I do.
Yes, yeah, and that was cool,
Yeah.
But
because you want to have, I do want to experience that part of the experience, So that was a great game, actually. They're going to have a lot to live up to in Ottawa because they really did everything right in that game. The way they announced the players, just everything was fantastic.
Yeah, and you can participate in the media hockey game if they do have one when the Winter Classic happens, and on January 1st. Me, if I went out there, I would fall on my butt about 5 times and walk off injured.
No,
so
I'm just going to do the media skate. I've never played in a media game outdoors because the outdoor games in Philly, I noticed this started happening. They attract like sharks, like great players, like the Ferraro brothers. Like I'm not playing with those guys; they're too good.
Yeah. Oh no, please no. And anyway, we'll move on. Now, just let me read the 5 games on the schedule tonight, and then we'll talk a little bit about the World Junior, and then if there are any questions in the chat, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
5 games tonight. Leafs 3rd game in 4 nights on the road against the Red Wings. McElhinney in goal for the Leafs.
This is the upset game that gets Mike upset, and Detroit wins.
Right now I'm expecting a loss because they're not scoring goals, and McElhinney used up all his magic against Edmonton. He'll probably let in about 7 tonight. Carolina at Buffalo. The suddenly hot Dallas Stars against the Devils. Kings and the Rangers at MSG. And Sharks and Canucks in Vancouver. Now I know that Team Canada announced some of their cuts. I saw guys like Logan.
Hang on. For the Ranger one, for Kings Rangers, I think it's worthy. We definitely should mention that Henrik Lundqvist registered the other night as 20,000 save, and here's a list of the guys that have made 20,000 saves. You've got Lundqvist, you got Brodeur, you got Luongo, you got Waugh, you got Esposito, you got Hull, Cujo, you got Belfour, Van Beesbrook, Worsley, Fuhrer, Milosh, which was a surprise one, Sean Burke, Jacques Plante, and Javi Bulin. That's a pretty good list.
It is.
Jonathan Quick, not on that list.
I mean, I think he'll get there. I mean,
he will probably get there.
Yeah. As I was saying, with Team Canada, they announced some of their first cuts yesterday.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, I don't. I saw.
You don't have it?
Yeah, I don't have all the players. I mean,
Cody, hold on, I'll look it up.
Yeah. Here we go. Cole Lind, Cody Glass, Dennis Cholowski, and I believe Logan Stanley was another one of the cuts.
Okay, so here's the thing. I get the Logan Stanley one. That's fine. Cholowski, I get. Even Cole Lind, I get. Even though Cole Lind has a hell of a shot and he's a really good scorer, I don't get the Cody Glass one. Again, I will just tell you that I would take Cody Glass over Mike McLeod. I would. I get that people like McLeod. He's a little older. But you know what? Cody Glass is a better player. And remember, McLeod hasn't played that many games this year.
Yeah, but this is the 18 versus the 90.
I don't care.
But that's here's the full list. Cody Glass, Cole Lind, Jonathan Ang, Dennis Cholowski, Logan Stanley, and goaltender Samuel Harvey. So they still have 3 goalies.
Right.
I believe they only usually carry 2. So
yeah, they'll torch somebody else before the end.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think with Glass.
Here's the thing. So looking at McLeod, right? He's got 13 points in 11 games, 8 goals. Okay. Looking up Cody Glass, because like Mike said, he's a preschooler. He's got 20 goals in 30 games and 48 points. You tell me that's not dominance. Last year he had 94 points.
Well, I mean,
do you think I care that he's 18 years old? No.
Hey, I agree. And I think I mentioned a couple days ago, and I know that our friend Bill Meltzer from Hockey Buzz has mentioned this on his Twitter feed. Morgan Frost, the Flyers' first-round pick, is 3rd in the OHL in scoring.
Yeah, I mentioned Morgan Frost when I did a TSN Winnipeg interview. I did.
And this shows, okay, he's 18 years old. He was not at the summer showcase in August. He was not a member of the OHL team in the Canada-Russia series, and he wasn't invited to the World Junior, the camp. So he wasn't even a thought. Now he'll probably be on the team next year. I would hope so, the way he's progressing. But that's the mentality of Team Canada. If you're 18 years old, unless your name is McDavid, you're not playing.
I just think that's way too early to cut Glass. I would have liked to have seen Glass play in one of the games, I mean, you can't call it preseason, but just in one of the exhibition games. I would like to have seen that and seen what he can do. And just, I just think Glass is the one I'm mad about. That's all.
Yeah. And now I think Team Canada has, I think they have like 3 or 4 more cuts to make, I believe. And Team USA has not made any of their cuts yet.
No, not yet.
So it's a little early because the tournament in Buffalo starts on the 26th.
Yeah. See, and this is another thing. You go back and look since 2010, how many medals Canada's won, and it's not as many as you think. And they make these quick decisions. I mean, these are quick cuts. Think about it. These guys were sent home pretty early.
Yeah,
you don't have to do it that early.
Yeah, but they invited 32 players, which a lot of people were surprised at. There was a little more than expected. So these are guys who
should be a little more than expected when your team is not doing what you expect it to do.
Right, but these are guys. See, that's the thing. They invite, and then they've done this a bunch of times. They invite slightly more than you expect. They give them the experience of going through the camp, but they're really not interested in these players being part of the team. It's just this is what's going to happen next year when we invite you again.
Yeah. I mean, there's not, a lot of Connor McDavids out there for them to win gold with. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
They may have a surplus of players, but you still have to have the right players. I don't think they have all the right players.
And we'll talk more about the World Junior going forward. Do we have any questions in the chat?
Yeah, we do. First one is, Mike, who is the maker or the brand name for your shirt? No, I'm kidding. It's not. Nobody.
It's a sweater. It's a
nobody
Gap.
cares.
It's a Gap sweater. Okay.
Okay. So, any chance the Pens try and go after Eric Stahl? I don't think so, because I think Minnesota's going to believe that they're in it until the end.
Yeah.
And we're assuming Parisi's out for the year, but we don't know that yet.
No.
So I think they're going to hold on like grim death and give it a go. And so I think Stahl will be a part of that.
And based on the way Stahl played last night, they're not getting rid of him. But Stahl always has been a Leaf killer, so that he always saves his best for Toronto.
Yeah. Now, all right, next question. Do we think Karlsson gets traded this year or stays with Ottawa? I think he stays with Ottawa this season.
Yeah.
I can't rule him out being traded at the draft, though.
Yeah, no, I think if he is traded, it's either one of two things. He's either going to get signed to an extension or he's going to get traded in that 2-week period after the Stanley Cup final and around July 1st when free agency kicks in. They cannot go to training camp with him only on his they can't do what right now is going on with Tavares and with the Islanders and with
and they did it with Alfredson, didn't they?
Yeah, and that was at the tail end of his career. But it's funny, the concern is right now, and I'm wondering whether this is coming out of the Ottawa organization. They're like, well, he's not the same guy from before the injury, and maybe he's going to have to take a little bit. He's not taking a little bit less. I mean, the guy has had major injuries on his foot and his Achilles in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
and he's still one of the best defensemen in the league. It may take him a little time to get back up to speed, but even at 80%, he's still a pretty damn good defenseman.
I do want to say I saw a picture on Facebook recently of Erik Karlsson all dressed up with Matt Zuccarello all dressed up and Henrik Lundqvist all dressed up. Just saying.
Yeah, I also saw a picture of him and Austin Matthews sitting next to each other at the All-Star game laughing. They were showing, so I'll trump your.
That's 3 against 1.
Yeah, well, never mind. Any more questions?
Well, it's not really 3 against 1, although there may have been another Ranger in that picture. I don't know. Let's see. Scrolling through, so hold on. Do we think the Sabres make a move before the roster freeze on Tuesday? I do think it's a possibility that Leonard can go before that. I mean, he's never going to play better than he played last night. He's really not.
The sooner the better and I think it's the thing is, the sooner the better for the teams that are looking for goalies.
Yep. So I do think there's a chance of that. I really do.
I know that Ack reported last night. And it was, and I'd heard some other things. I think it was Bob McKenzie reported that Detroit was willing to eat salary on Peter Mrazek, and that maybe Mrazek is on the radar of a few teams that are noted to be looking for goaltending. So, I honestly, if it's a choice between Mrazek and Leonard, I'd rather take Leonard. I know Leonard's inconsistent, but Mrazek has been bad for a year and a half.
I would take Leonard too. I still look at him and said last night, even with the Sabres defense only being slightly improved to the last time I saw them, Leonard's still pretty technically sound. He will give up the occasional goal where you shake your head like, hey, he didn't move fast enough because he's a big guy. But I saw him doing 99% of the right things. So I think with the right defense in front of him, he still can be something. Another question was, do I think that Marchessault signs a deal in Vegas before the end of the year? I do. Yeah. I think they're going to lock him up for like a 5-year deal. I don't think they have a choice. I think they're going to need somebody going forward to, not only be a face with, eventually be Cody Glass and still Fleury and for as long as he's there, but they need an offensive face, and he'll be that guy.
And they might do the same thing with James Neal because he's scoring like crazy, and it won't be as long.
I don't know if he gets 5 years for Neal. He's old.
I was gonna say he might get 3, but if they give him the similar type of money that they're getting right now, like the $5 to $6 million range, and they can afford that because they have tons of cap room. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right, good show.
Stay tuned for the Star Wars spoilers. If you want to know, I'll start spilling the beans.
Yeah, I'll be when I go to see it on Sunday afternoon because I'm not going to go watch I'm not going to stay at home and watch the Bills lose.
See it in 3D. I have to tell people, see it in 3D.
Yeah, well, as I explained to you, it's tough to fit those damn 3D glasses over my regular glasses.
Just do it.
If they had those like the sunglass things where they flip the glasses, that would be perfect.
I don't know why they don't. I mean, how much more could that cost?
I don't know, but I know the funny thing is that somebody I went to grammar school with, her husband is the guy who invented the 3D glasses. So
the original?
The original ones, not the ones back in the 50s.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
I'm talking about. I'm not that old. I'm talking about the newer generation ones, the disposable ones at the theater. Anyway, right. So we will talk about we will give our review of Star Wars without spoilers on Monday. Most likely we'll have Kevin Allen on the show. For Russ Cohen, I'm Michael Agello. Thank you for watching, and remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey.